If you often worry about how others perceive you, the following advice is sure to be helpful. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "When you decide to do something you believe is right, don't let others deter you, even if the majority disagrees. If it's wrong, you shouldn't do it in the first place, but if it's right, why should you care about what others think? If you let a small thing slip, you'll let many other things slip as well. Before you know it, everything will have slipped away. So, don't concern yourself with what others think of you. Otherwise, you'll be immersed in an endless loop of regret." This is not only a sound approach in work, but also a way of thinking that can be applied to all aspects of life. Starting by ceasing to worry about what others think of you is also a way to deal with bigger issues. In this video, we will delve into the 7 pivotal teachings of Epictetus that empower us to rise above the fray of external judgments and cultivate a mental fortress impervious to the arrows of others' opinions. Whether you're a newcomer to Stoic thought or a seasoned practitioner, these principles will guide you towards a life of reduced suffering and increased equanimity. Principle 1. Dealing with insults and offenses. If someone gives you a gift but you do not accept it, then the gift still belongs to its owner. Certainly, no one desires it, but sometimes we have to face bad words or insults and offenses from others. The challenge is, how should we respond to this situation? The story below shows you a useful way to deal with such derogatory words. Contempt. Near Tokyo, there lived an elderly martial artist who devoted his time to teaching Zen to the young. Despite his age, it was rumored that he could defeat any opponent. One day, a warrior known for his fearlessness approached. He was infamous for his technique of provocation. Blessed with a rare intelligence in exploiting his opponent's mistakes, he would wait for them to make the first move, then counterattack with lightning speed. This aggressive young warrior, who had never been defeated, sought to conquer and enhance his reputation by challenging the esteemed old martial artist. The martial artist's students objected, but the old master accepted the challenge. They met in a city square, and the young warrior began to insult and humiliate the elder. He threw stones at him, spat in his face, and shouted the most offensive insults. He did everything to provoke and anger the old man for hours, but the martial artist remained calm and indifferent. As night fell, feeling exhausted and humiliated, the young warrior withdrew. Disappointed to see their master accept such insults and humiliation, the students asked, "Why could you endure such disgrace from such a despicable person? Why didn't you use your sword even if you lost, rather than showing us your cowardice? If someone offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, who does it belong to?" the martial artist asked. "It belongs to the one who tried to give it," a student replied. "That is also how I deal with envy, anger, and insults." The master responded, "When such envy and insults are not accepted, they always belong to the one who carries them." Epictetus imparts his wisdom, reminding us, remember that the one who insults or offends is not truly harming you. It is your own judgment that deems these actions offensive. So, when someone provokes you, realize that it's your own perception that initially disturbs you. To not be affected by others' opinions, it's crucial to grasp that insults and offenses, in and of themselves, lack inherent harm. The emotional discomfort arising from offensive words results from our interpretation of them. When someone attempts to belittle or disrespect you, understand that these words can only affect you if you permit them to do so. A person's true greatness is measured by their capacity to endure negativity, as that's an inevitable aspect of life. When you feel insulted or offended, ask yourself, do I want to win or lose? Do I want to yield to what's beyond my control? By remaining unshaken by insults, you'll find a profound sense of satisfaction that uplifts you, making you stronger and more resilient in the face of adversity. We've all experienced situations where a negative comment has adversely impacted our day or week, despite our best efforts. If this resonates with you, keep learning, as the following principles will delve into the path of self-mastery. Our Principle 2. Maintaining Steadfast. As Marcus Aurelius once said, it is not events that disturb people. It is their judgments concerning them. This echoes the essence of our second principle, maintaining steadfast. To be impervious to the sway of external opinions, one must anchor themselves in their purpose with unwavering resolve. When embarking on the philosophical quest, anticipate the jeers and dismissive remarks, the "Look, a philosopher arises," or the "Whence this haughty air?" Hold fast to humility, and invest in pursuits that truly enrich your being. By doing so, the very individuals who once scorned you may come to regard you with respect. Yielding to their views, on the other hand, invites a twofold derision. This Stoic tenet, while rooted in philosophy, extends to all facets of life, for too often do we forsake our innate gifts to appease the critical masses. Epictetus warns us against allowing the dread of judgment to distort our aims. Failure is not found in the attempt and fall, but in the capitulation to external pressures. This is not mere failure. It is a betrayal of our authentic self. To forsake one's path for fear of social strife or others' scrutiny is to lose oneself. It is far better to endure the temporary sting of ridicule while staying true to one's nature. In moments of choice, reflect deeply, scrutinize your motives, and align them with your core values. This is the path to a life lived in harmony with one's own principles and essence. Principle 3. The futility of fearing disrepute. In the words of the renowned Stoic philosopher Epictetus, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. In today's digital age, where opinions are shared freely and judgments are passed in seconds, it's easy to feel swayed by the noise. But should we? Epictetus enlightens us with a profound principle. Do not be disturbed by the opinions of others. Why? Because if external validation held true power, it would have the might to steal our joy. Yet the essence of who we are, our true value, lies solely within our realm of control. How often have we found ourselves seeking approval, especially in the vast world of social media? The quest for likes and shares can be a treacherous path, one that siphons the joy from our souls. Should we place our emotional serenity in the hands of the multitude? My stance is unequivocal. Absolutely not. Contemplate this, for we have all found ourselves in less than flattering situations yet devoid of malice. Should the laughter of others or exclusion from the ranks of the popular unsettle us? Does your contentment truly hinge on the whims of popularity? To subscribe to such a belief is to engage in perpetual conflict, for then, happiness eludes your grasp. To live in such a way is to betray a core tenet of Stoicism, to invest only in that which lies within our dominion, and to remain steadfast amidst the uncontrollable. When faced with derision, remember, you are invulnerable unless you consent to the injury. If maligned or misunderstood, recognize that the offender operates under their own guise of righteousness. Not all will align with your principles, yet their actions seem just in their eyes. Thus, if judged by a skewed perception, it is they who mar themselves with their misjudgment. In the face of insult, exercise patience and affirm to yourself, this is merely their perspective. Principle 4. Mastery of self-control. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once remarked, "If you wish to be a writer, write." In the same vein, if we wish to be masters of our own minds, we must practice with the diligence of an athlete in training. Consider your mind as your private sanctuary. Would you permit a trespasser to invade this sacred space? Surely not. Yet, when we take an insult to heart, we fling open the doors of our consciousness, allowing the offender to take up residence within. It's a curious contradiction. We guard our homes against strangers, yet neglect the same vigilance for our minds. To rise above the sting of negative remarks, we must forge our discipline and self-control into an impenetrable armor. This principle holds true in all facets of life, extending even to our interactions with loved ones. When the embers of anger begin to glow, douse them with self-restraint. This act alone can spare us from needless turmoil and usher in a state of tranquility. Embrace this truth, for it is a catalyst for profound transformation. Self-control is not merely a trait but a beacon that guides us through life's tumultuous seas with grace and poise. By honing this skill, we sidestep rash decisions and destructive impulses, charting a course toward a harmonious and fulfilling existence. So, let us heed the wisdom of Epictetus. Guard your mind with the same fervor as your body, cultivating discipline and self-control as pathways to inner calm and enduring happiness. Principle 5. Act in accordance with your best judgment. Epictetus, a sage of Stoicism, imparts a timeless lesson: the importance of acting in harmony with one's principles, irrespective of external perceptions. This principle resonates profoundly, especially in our era where social media often dictates our sense of self-worth. We find ourselves in a world where the number of likes or shares can unduly influence our happiness, leading us to seek validation from others rather than from within. Epictetus urges us to break free from this cycle of external approval and to act based on our own ethical compass. This principle is not just a call to personal authenticity, but a reminder of the value of integrity. When we align our actions with our deepest convictions, we are not just being true to ourselves, but we are also setting a powerful example for others. It's about making choices that resonate with our core beliefs, even if these choices go against the grain of popular opinion or social pressure. By doing so, we not only reinforce our own character, but also inspire those around us to consider the strength that comes from acting with integrity. Moreover, this approach to life builds a robust foundation for genuine happiness and fulfillment. It's a happiness that is self-generated, not reliant on the fleeting and often fickle judgments of others. In the grand scheme of things, our own assessment of our actions and choices when they are in line with our principles is what truly matters. This self-assessment, grounded in our values and beliefs, is what paves the way for a life that is not only meaningful, but also deeply satisfying. In essence, by adhering to our best judgment and staying true to our principles, we craft a life that is not only admirable, but also rich in personal contentment and moral integrity. Principle 6. Embracing serenity amidst unfounded criticism. In the teachings of Epictetus, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy is the notion that concern over a tarnished reputation, especially when it stems from others' misjudgments, is unnecessary. Imagine you're at the receiving end of criticism or harm. Epictetus urges us to consider that the individual inflicting this perceives their actions as justifiable. It's a fundamental truth of human nature that not everyone will align with your perspective of what's right and wrong. In fact, their actions might be rooted in a completely different understanding of these concepts. When others judge you based on their misconceptions, it's they who err, not you. In these moments, patience becomes your shield. Remind yourself, this person is acting from their own viewpoint, which might be vastly different from mine. Their opinion is not a reflection of my true self, and I must not let it disturb my peace. This self-dialogue is crucial in maintaining your inner tranquility and authenticity, rather than being swayed by external judgments. Adopting this mindset enhances your emotional resilience and self-confidence. It empowers you to continue your life's journey, guided by your values and principles, rather than being molded by the perceptions of others. This principle is a powerful reminder that your true value lies not in how others perceive you, but in the integrity of your actions and the strength of your character. By focusing on these, you cultivate a life of purpose and meaning, undisturbed by the unfounded criticisms of others. This approach is particularly resonant for men in the 30-65 age group, who often face societal pressures and judgments, encouraging them to find solace and strength in their own principles and self-worth. Principle 7. No one can hurt you. We delve into the intricate dynamics of insults and their underlying motivations. This principle enlightens us on a crucial aspect of human interaction: the folly of expecting universal agreement with our perspectives. Such expectations are not only unrealistic but can also be detrimental to our well-being. It's a common misstep to assume that everyone will align with our viewpoint, a belief that often leads to disappointment and frustration. When confronted with an insult, it's essential to engage in introspection. We must remember that we are the foremost authorities on our own lives. We understand our thoughts, motivations, and the reasons behind our actions better than anyone else. This self-awareness is pivotal when assessing the validity of an outsider's judgment. If someone insults us, claiming to know our truth, we should first question ourselves. Have I acted wrongly? If our conscience is clear, we then ponder, is it within my power to truly comprehend the motivations behind their words? The answer, invariably, is that we cannot fully grasp the intentions of others. This realization brings a sense of liberation. If we are confident in our actions and intentions, the ignorance or misunderstanding behind an insult should not disturb our peace. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, aptly remarked, "So it seemed to them." This statement encapsulates the subjective nature of perception and judgment. It's a reminder that opinions are often more reflective of the beholder than the subject. To conclude, let's reflect on another profound lesson from Epictetus. How long will you put off thinking yourself worthy of the highest improvements and follow the plan of reason? You have received the philosophical principles with which you ought to be familiar. What other master, then, do you wait for as a teacher to begin your work? This quote is a call to action, urging us to embrace our understanding and apply the Stoic principles we've learned. It challenges us to stop waiting for external validation or guidance and start living according to our own reasoned judgments and values. This principle, therefore, is not just about dealing with insults, but about recognizing and trusting our own understanding and worth. As we draw this exploration of Epictetus's 7 Stoic principles to a close, let us not forget that the journey to self-mastery is an ongoing one. You are the architect of your own destiny, not merely a passive observer. If you find yourself postponing your personal growth, remember Epictetus's words and recognize that the power to change lies within you, starting this very moment. Embrace these principles daily and watch as they fortify your spirit and bring tranquility to your life. I urge you, fellow seekers of wisdom, to not just passively consume this knowledge, but to actively integrate it into the fabric of your daily existence. How will you apply these Stoic principles in your life today? Share your reflections and commitments in the comments below to inspire and encourage others on their path. If our Stoic journey resonates with you, consider subscribing to continue cultivating a life of virtue and serenity. Until next time, may your journey be filled with Stoic resolve and profound growth. Farewell.